with Cody Rhodes now officially signed with WWE, according to PW Insider, we now have a word on when that possible debut in WWE could happen. So, first, I just want to talk about the report from PW Insider that broke over the weekend. And it basically said Cody Rhodes has signed with WWE. Multiple sources have confirmed. Rhodes inked the deal 10 to 14 days ago. So, approximately 2 weeks ago, Cody Rhodes signed that deal. He's in WWE. Multiple other people have said that that is in line with what they're hearing, including Andrew Zarian, including others. So, Cody Rhodes is going to WWE. I know that there's many people who might still think this is a work, who might still think that there's going to be some fallout, whatever. I think it was pretty clear from those press releases. It was pretty clear from everything that happened over the that has happened over the past number of months that Rhodes was not going to re-sign with AEW, to be honest. It was pretty obvious that Cody was looking for, not even financially, I think, because we'll talk about the financial situation. Some of those numbers came out. But I don't even think it was about the financial situation. I think Cody Rhodes wants to go out and he wants to be the one of if not the biggest star he can be. He definitely wants to be the biggest star he can be, but he wants to be one of the biggest stars in pro wrestling, and he wants to do things that no one else has done. That's why he left WWE in the beginning. That's why he went out and wrestled all over the world, got better, got to become a real legitimized star, and now he's returning to the place where he never could become that star. So there's that. The current plan for Cody Rhodes' debut is WrestleMania weekend. So a lot of speculation that perhaps he was going to show up on Monday Night Raw last week in Jacksonville. A lot of speculation that he might show up tonight on Raw. Currently, it looks like the plan is going to be to hold off on that until WrestleMania weekend, which I find very interesting because I don't think they should do that. I think whether it's 2 weeks out, whether it's 1 week out, you debut Cody before Mania, so you fill out the rest of the tickets, so you have people interested. I mean, again, is there this factor or this idea of people? Is this thing of people, wanting to show up to be surprised by Cody Rhodes? Yeah, there definitely is, but I think that it would be cooler, it would be better, and it would be. Yeah, and again, it depends on how it's presented. Look at something like The First Dance. That was presented in a very good light. That was presented best way it could be. And it worked. So you can have surprises, or known surprises, I should say, in pro wrestling like that. But you have to be able to present it well. If it's a thing where Cody just kind of walks down and says, I'm here to fight you, Seth Rollins, at WrestleMania. Like, no, come on. I mean, I just think you need to have a little bit of a build-up, a little bit of context, for something like that, to building up to a match specifically. Because it would be different if it was just a moment. If it was just like Cody Rhodes coming out, Cody Rhodes walking down to the ring, cutting a promo. Oh, no. Do that as a surprise. Do that whenever. I don't care about that. But a match is completely different. I think that's the context here that, maybe we need to think about as we're thinking about how WWE might go about this, how we might want WWE to go about this, and how this should be probably presented. Current plan is also to have Cody Rhodes wrestle on the Raw brand, as you guys can tell from the red banner down there. Yeah, Cody's going to be wrestling on Raw. That's not a surprise. Seth Rollins is on Raw. Raw, it was always thought to be the A show. Raw is the more sports entertainment show, or has always thought to be the more sports entertainment show. Are arguably, they're both sports entertainment, but doesn't matter. Cody Rhodes is going to be on Raw. Interesting that, we didn't see Fox potentially try to maybe lure him into coming over to Friday Night SmackDown. We know that they have wanted bigger stars. They wanted the bigger stars to be on primarily Friday Night SmackDown, but Cody's going to be on Raw, so that's an interesting note. As far as As far as, like, is he going to stay there? We don't know, because we also don't know what's happening necessarily with the whole brand split situation. I know that both NBC and Fox do like having their branded superstars, but we're coming up to a point where Roman Reigns is about to, in theory, unify the Universal and WWE championships. We saw the pictures floating around of the new unified WWE World Title. So there's a lot that's gonna happen over the next few months that could throw, honestly, the entire structure of the brands into a little bit of disarray. I'm not gonna say full on chaos, but definitely more disorganization, because you're gonna have that one traveling champion. It's gonna be interesting, I think, to see what they do. But is what they do going to be actually interesting? That's a whole nother story. Back to Cody Rhodes. One last thing, one final thought on this. This is an important moment in pro wrestling history. This is a very important moment because AEW is 3 years old. For a very long time, there were a lot of fans who have been happy, who have been defending, who have been very, very much like rallying wrestlers and the entire wrestling community behind AEW. It's been a bit of a honeymoon period. 3 years in now, they're hot. I'm not saying they're not doing great shows. They're doing some of the best shows they've ever done. They are great at creative. They're a great company. But eventually that honeymoon is going to end, and fans are going to be more critical of AEW. Pro wrestlers are going to be more critical of AEW, and they already are. And I think Cody Rhodes, literally the guy who you could argue that the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, were bigger stars in AEW, but the catalyst for AEW really came from Cody Rhodes. It really did. He was the guy who kind of fired those first shots when for All In, especially. Again, that's not to say that the other guys didn't. They all had a part in it. But for the first defection, like this should not be understated. For the first defection from AEW to WWE to be a founding member of AEW, a founding EVP, for it to be Cody Rhodes of all people, completely baffling. Still, to like, not in the way that, oh my God, I can't believe he did that. It's just insane to think about from where we were 3 years ago. That's why you should never say never in pro wrestling. But here we are, Cody Rhodes wrestling in WWE. It's likely going to happen. It's almost guaranteed to happen at WrestleMania in Dallas. Goodness gracious, I can't wait to see that.